everyone, welcome to Fox Sports coverage of GT Asia. It's round 7, we're at the halfway point in the season and we're at the famous Fuji International Speedway in Japan. Steve Martin and Jonathan Green bringing you the action, and Steve, as always, the weather's going to be a part to play with here because obviously, as you can see from behind us, the cloud very low, we've had rain, we're expecting more, but the series itself is wide open.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've seen a lot of manufacturers get wins in on the podium, especially if you have a look, there's a really good mix of different cars on the podium. But I guess the standouts that haven't had a win yet are the Lamborghini and the new Porsche.
Yeah, of course, Japan, Bentley have been good, Audi have been good, Ferrari leading the championship at the moment with Russo and New, and Ferrari, well, we know how well they go here.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3 here last year. It's a very strong track for Ferrari. But I guess the standout of the year that had run him in, Carlo Van Dam, probably wants to put that right this time around.
Yeah, there's no question that Carlo Van Dam has been struggling this year, as has the Sigma Motorsport team with Ferrari. They're in the order 4, 5, 8. We spoke to Carlo about his win last year and about form this year.
Obviously, this year there are a lot of new cars. We stick with 4x8, which is maybe in terms of pace not always the best car anymore, but we're still up there. Obviously now with the Porsche in the rain conditions, they're looking strong. So it will be a bit of a different mix of cars, but the only thing I have to worry about is we come out on top.
I'm going to say, yeah, I mean, we're at the halfway point of the season. You've had some good luck, you haven't had the result that you wanted. Can you turn around the second half of the season?
Well, if we don't get any penalties, whether we deserve them or not,
Hello and a warm welcome to Fuji International Speedway. Jonathan Green and Steve Martin bringing you the action from the iconic Japanese Speedway as we bring you round 8 of GT Asia. Hi everyone, wonderful day ahead of us in terms of the racing. We've already had a big weekend so far with round 7 in the wet, and we're hoping it's still a little bit cloudy and muggy outside, but we're hoping for a dry race, as you can see here at the famous Fuji circuit. Fully dry at the moment as the safety car goes round to check the track for debris. There's been several races here, including Formula 3 and Super Formula, but now it's time for the big boys of GT Asia to strut their stuff for round 8. This is the famous Fuji circuit, which of course has a long straight. That's how it's defined, by 1.5 kilometers of straight. Then it heads downhill and down dale, and a very tricky last section through turns 12, 13, 14, and then finally 15 and 16 and on to the main straight. In terms of the championship, look how tight it is as we are now just over the halfway point. 79 points. Davide Rizzo and Anthony Liu of Ferrari lead the way, but look, Eduardo Liberati and Andrea Amici of Lamborghini are now on 76 points. Adley Fong of Hong Kong and his teammate Andrew Kim are right there with 74, and then just one behind, winner in Thailand, Marchi Lee and his teammate. Work to do for the likes of Vutekorn and Jonathan Venter. Had a bit of bad luck both last time out, and although a very spirited run by Vutekorn yesterday, and likewise bad luck for Alex Young somewhat in round 7, but he did force his way through the field, having started from the pit lane. As you can see, a lot of action down on the grid as we look down on the Lamborghinis, and well, this is the brand new FFF racing team by ACM Lamborghini Huracan, and I wonder, Steve Martin alongside me, is this the day that we see these two young Italians, starting with this man, Andrea Amici, and of course his teammate, Andrea Liberati, to the right, actually finally pull it off? They've been so close, they've been on the podium, they've been there or thereabouts, but they haven't got a race win.
Yeah, they've had plenty of second places, plenty of third places. They're very close in the championship, just a couple of points off the lead. And this is the first pole of the year of the Huracan, believe it or not, Jonathan. But the thing is they got that pole in wet conditions on Saturday, so it's going to be difficult to see if they can do it in the dry. But this is their best shot. I mean, Lamborghini, the only manufacturer, one of the only manufacturers that hasn't won a race this year yet in the new car, so they've really got to try hard.
As we take a look at one of the other favourites, of course, Kurosawa, winner here last year, and Jonathan Venter of Australia. And talking of Australia, we just saw a quick glimpse of Walsh. Walsh, of course, Ashley Walsh, who's coming into the championship. He starts on the front row. Could he do something?
You know what? They said yesterday when we spoke to the Stone Madeki racing team that they thought that they had a good opportunity to win if it was dry, and that's what they're aiming to do.
Round 7 winners, Birambakti and Van Dam. Carlo Van Dam of Holland put in a great first stint, handing over the car to Piti Birambakti, who, for me anyway, drove the best race of round 7 to take the Singer Motorsport team to their first victory of the year.
I would go as far to say as that's the best drive of the year for Piti Birambakti, to bring the car home for that emphatic win, the first year for them in the older 458 Ferrari. I mean, that was a brilliant drive in very difficult conditions, so a great job by him.
The resplendent all-gold Lee and Thong combination. Marchi Lee will take the second stint. Thong, well, there he is, giving us a wave for Phoenix Racing Asia, and that resplendent Audi R8, and certainly it's been catching the eye of the Japanese fans here for sure, just in its colour scheme alone. The Phoenix Racing delighted to have them on board, and don't forget there's plenty of battles throughout, because we've also got the Pro-Am Cup led by Sean Thong, and that is very close indeed, because just 1 point, 2 points, excuse me, between Thong and Anthony Liu. And the big news of this race is that Anthony Liu will start at the back of the grid in that fantastically painted number 37 Ferrari. Now that is key, because that was the story of round 7, was that Rizzo and Liu went out with engine failure.
Yeah, absolutely. They were running very well in the round 7, and they had a massive engine failure. They didn't have a spare engine, but Mok Wing Sung and the Clearwater Racing team kindly donated an engine to the guys, which was incredible stuff. But of course, Mok Wing Sung not in the chance for the championship this year, so he did a great job to give that engine over.
Here's your starting grid then. Liberati and Amici, Hideki and Walsh. Walsh wants to do the first stint. Starting on the front row for Matt Stone Racing. Then to Sauer in the Bentley. Then it's the Singer Motorsport team. Round 7 winners, Van Dam and Bidon Bakti in 4th position. Then it's Thorman Lee, who we were just talking about in the all-gold Phoenix Racing Asia Audi. Lions and you on the podium last time out. They start for Craft Bamboo in 6th position. Then it's Fong and Kim, and they could easily come through from 7th. As could Tapi and Indra Vasak of Thailand. Definitely got their tails up, but those two, Oh Young and Bidon Bakti, they look good too as well. The Porsche starting to come good. And then Alex Young and Alex Au in 10th position, followed by Sugden and Ma. Great to see Philip Ma back for Group M Racing alongside former Asian champion Tim Sugden. Rizzo and Liu, as we mentioned, for BBT, the championship leaders, but for how long? This is such a pivotal race in the championship. And then we go down to the GTC class. Ajay Seto, Kurosai, Bidon Bakti there, the championship leaders for Singer Plan B Motorsport. They start 14th, they were winners in round 7. And Funai and Ueda coming in this weekend for the AJ's Racing team. And they certainly put it to the championship leaders last time out. It was a good battle in GTC2. We'll be keeping an eye on both and also giving you up-to-date information on the team's battle. And at the moment, Bentley team absolutely leading the way with 169 points, followed by Phoenix Racing Asia, BBT 3rd overall. But in the Drivers' Championship, Rizzo and Liu lead by a very scantily 79 points. And then Eduardo Liberati and Andrea Amici have a chance now to get on equal terms, especially with the Ferrari having to come through the field. I talked to Davide Rizzo this morning about that engine change because it's so dramatic when you think about it. It's one thing to change a Ferrari engine for a 488. You're not going to test it. This is it. This is the first time this car has run.
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely a lot of work to do overnight to change that engine over. Lots of nuts and bolts that need to be undone and put back together with no warm-up before this race. They're going into this cold turkey. They're set up for the 2x2 start now. Much better track conditions than yesterday. 26 degrees track temperature at the moment, 24 degrees ambient. We're set for a great race.
Foggy Fuji once again, but it's dry this time as we form up for round 8 of GT Asia. It's Aston Martin and Lamborghini on the front row. The Aston Martin to your right, the all-Italian Lamborghini to your left. Amici with a big start ahead of him. Will he get it right, the youngster? When the red lights go out, we will be racing. They are formed up. It looks good to me.
Up the inside.
Good drive by Amici, keeping the centre of the lane there to try and stop everybody from coming by, and that's exactly what he's done. Duman going wide, good start by the Ferrari.
Oh,
no, the Bentley's off big time, but gets back on.
What a save.
That was a big save. If he'd have been a goalkeeper in the World Cup, they would have been applauding that one. But it is the Lamborghini that leads the way.
Well, it might be dry, but the action started already.
Yeah, superb stuff. And now it's Bentley in 2nd place as well, as Sauer gets through. Sauer Venter combination.
Yeah, we talked about Sauer yesterday.
Oh no! The Aston Martin is out already! That set's gone wide in the Audi.
That's blowing the start for the Australian team. What a disappointment for them, but they've managed to rejoin the back of the pack.
So, and a lock up there by Venter.
Yeah, there's Venter and Sauer, of course. Sauer in that car at the moment, and he's doing a great job. He's done 100 laps or more around here a month because he's got a driving school at this circuit, so he's done a great job to get the start that he did.
An interesting bystander, Jan Mardenborough, in the pit there of the Lamborghini with Alf Bora watching on.
Yeah, it's great for the AMC team there, so good for them. There's the Carlo Van Dam machine.
Yeah, Bidon Bakti at the wheel, and now getting the close attention of the Bentley. And look at the Ferrari streaming through the field, and he's side by side with the Porsche. And here comes the number 9 Bentley. Vudicorn on his way.
And there he goes, up the inside into Buvacek at the end of the straight. Very strong on the brakes, and he's straight past.
Oh, he's brilliantly put through. Vudicorn goes through there. And look at the Ferrari. Anthony Lewis flying. He's passed the Porsche. And this is a superb start. Toy Bellambacti couldn't hold him off. For Craft Bamboo and BBT are through.
Yeah, Michi and Liberati up the road. They've already got a second gap, so it's a great job by them.
Yeah, I've got a feeling that Andrea Amici really wants to do something special in this stint. I think he's somewhat overawed at times by Liberati. He's got the accolades somewhat here in Asia especially, as he's the Super Trofeo last year's champion. And Amici wanting to prove himself, and he's been fast since we got to Korea as Amici. He just really hasn't had a chance to shine. He's doing it here, already building just under a second of a lead.
Yeah, well, if that team does want to get their win, if that...
And Bellambacti almost touching, I was going to say almost touching, they are touching. And he's nudging him forward, the Audi.
Sean Long, of course, trying to get up the inside. He's got the inside line at the right spot, Jonathan.
He's nerfed him out of the way, the VLT man. And Bellambacti has to give way to the Audi. Thong goes through.
Yeah, Thong's on a mission there. He's pulled a lot of gap already, at least 3 or 4 car lengths.
And don't forget, that is actually Marchi Lee, of course, because Marchi Lee starts the race, Thong will be second. And so it's Marchi Lee, and therefore the typical aggressive Marchi Lee that we're used to seeing. But let's keep an eye on this Ferrari. It's 488 versus 458 here. As we look into the BBT camp, there's David Rizzo in the middle of their group, as Anthony Liu is doing the business. Now, of course, Anthony, an amateur driver from Shanghai, but without doubt one of the most accomplished drivers in our series.
Yeah, you've got to agree with that, Jonathan. I mean, he drove brilliantly yesterday. You know, unfortunately they had that issue, but all year that number 37 Ferrari 488 has been up there, and they had a win as well already. So that's why they're leading the championship.
Bad start for Walsh, obviously. He's spun the car, the Aston Martin, and they're now down in 10th position. They'll try to get their way through, but this is a really interesting battle. Okay, how quickly can Anthony Liu get on level terms with Bellambacti in this fight? A superb one at that.
Yeah, two Ferraris, but 2 different cars as well. Don't forget the older 458 in front, with a little bit of damage on the back left-hand side, as you can see, and the new 488 bi-turbo car.
We talked to this man, Carlo Van Daan, about that difference between the speeds of the new and the older car. And he says there's not that much difference in top speed anyway. It's really more to do with these sorts of corners, these fast, sort of high-speed mid-corners where the 488 really shines in the new technology, especially because the 458 was one of the most successful cars over a decade, worldwide, of course, and it remains a very competitive car, as it did so at Le Mans recently.
And you can see it by the different lines that they're taking. The 458 has got a lot less downforce, which means it still has a big top speed advantage over some of the other cars here. You can just see Anthony Liu in the background there, flashing his headlights, trying to put the pressure on the number 12 Singer Ferrari 458.
And Vudicorn's coming into play now in the Bentley just in front, and we spoke to him this morning. He's now under big pressure from Bellambacti. The 2 ties going at it, and round the outside. I don't think he's going to make it through there, and he's going to play it to Anthony Liu's hands, because through goes the BBT Ferrari, and now he goes in pursuit. And Rizzo likes that. So, it's interesting. We spoke to Davide this morning, and we were saying, you know, what can you do? And he said, we just don't know. I mean, we've changed the engine. We hope it's okay. We'll just see it when I get to my stint where I am. And I think he's going to be in a good spot.
Absolutely. It just goes to show the quality of the teams and you know, the guys they've got in the garages down there, how professional this series is, and the quality of the mechanics to be able to just do that, put it in the car. The car can go out there and race towards the front.
Spoke to Vudicorn as well this morning, really excited about actually starting the race today, and here he is under the pressure of the Ferrari, and he turns in on him almost side by side with him. Can he defend? Bentley versus Ferrari.
Look at that, Anthony Liu's got his nose around the outside.
That's a brave manoeuvre. He's got the better line for the next one now.
He's on the inside.
But he is taken out effectively. Good driving though from Vudicorn. He had the line and perfectly capable and perfectly able to do that. Liu's got to be careful.
Liu is driving on the limit.
Well, he's known for his aggression, but They say rubbing's racing, but I don't know if that counts.
Well, we should see now if he's got a little bit of a slipstream there. He's got his hand out the window.
Now, what was that all about? He's not waving to the crowd.
No.
Not just yet.
Definitely the heart rate up. He wants to get past it to Podium as quick as he can.
Yeah, interested to know what that signal was meant to mean. Was it meant to mean stay with me, don't try and pass me, number 12?
No, that's meant to say into Podium, get out of my way, I'm coming through.
Okay, look out Bentley, he's coming through. But the big bad Bentley isn't so easy to pass. That's for sure. We've learned that over the years.
No, it's definitely got good acceleration off of the stop and go corners. It brakes fantastically as well, so it's one of the more difficult cars.
Oh, a moment there from Liu. Out of shape there through 4.
Yeah, Liu is definitely driving that car to the limit.
Through 160. Through here, the long right-hander. And then into this very tight movement. And how did he get that one?
Marchie Lee.
So out goes the winners. Talk about heroes to zeros. Beard on Bakti and Van Dam are out already. And who would you say? You're kind of looking at Marchie, I guess.
Marchie's gone up the inside there. Look, he's stayed way off, late on the brakes, gone up the inside. And
to be fair, the stewards must have a look at that because, I mean...
Well, he didn't turn in. He left...
he just went straight on.
He left the number 12 car, Bakti, nowhere to go. Yes, that's a good call for the stewards, that one.
Well, we'll soon find out. But, yeah, it's a great racing, though. Round 8 is off to a march, for sure. And it's being led at the moment by Andrea Amici in the FFF Racing Team car by 2 seconds over Sauer and Venta. Get Sauer at the wheel. The Japanese who won here last year with Ali Fong. As we take a look at this battle still between the number 9 and the number 37.
207 kilometres an hour in this 1.5 kilometre straight here at Fuji, kilometres an hour. They break down to 70. The Ferrari just a few k's down. He's going
What
up
a
the
lock
inside.
up, but the Ferrari's through. Under braking, but goes wide. Does he hold it? I think he does. No, he goes wide. And back goes the Bentley. Wow, and here comes the Audi. Marchie Lee with lights but blaze goes through.
Round the outside. That was a very nice move by Marchie Lee.
Skip to the blue, my darling, because Anthony has just messed that one up, I'm afraid.
I'll tell you what, Walsh is making a good comeback too. Walsh is on his way back through the field for the Matt Stone Racing team, up to 6th position. So the Aston Martin, who started on the front row of the grid, is working his way forward as well.
This is the battle for 4th and 5th place. What a start to this race. If you've just joined us, if you've not seen GT Asia before, you'll see the clock at the top. It tells you 50 minutes to go. It's a 1-hour race with a compulsory pit stop. And then there's more drama because when we pit stop, we change drivers. And in this particular race, it will be the big boy professionals coming into the fray. And I'm sure they are chomping at the bit to get amongst it right now because it's been such a frenetic start to this one.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of high heartbeats in the pit box as well at the moment, hoping that those cars are in one piece. The way that these guys are driving, they're just really on the limit out there.
I've got a feeling it's the way this race has kind of built up because we started on Friday with a wet session, a dry session, and another wet session. Then we had round 7, of course, in the wet, and I think these guys just really wanted to race in the dry, and here they are.
Talking about racing in the dry, the guys haven't had a lot of time in the dry. It's been wet most of the weekend here, so this is one of the few dry sessions that we've had. But Amici and Liberati at the moment are doing a great job. 4.3 seconds out in front of Sauer and Venta.
Well, I had a feeling that if Amici got the start, which he did superbly, he kept himself in the middle of the track, he's now going to build on that lead over 4.3 seconds. And to be fair, that Bentley of Sauer and Venta just hasn't looked as strong and aggressive perhaps as they did earlier in the season. Korea, they were so dominant. And this weekend, just not seen it.
No, but of course we do have the balance of performance, which is the way that we have it. If there's one car that seems to be too strong compared to another car, we change certain things on the car. And look at the headlights blazing there. Just saying, I mean business.
Yeah, well, it's a big important day for the 55. Amici Liberati. Saw them this morning. They're staying in our hotel, and we got a chance to talk to them, and they were so cock-a-hoop about yesterday's result because it was a little bit touch and go. Amici was in the car in the final stint, and there was confusion at the end. He wasn't sure where he'd finished, but in the end they did take 2nd place, and I think they came into this morning determined. Talking of determined, look at this battle between Audi and Ferrari of Anthony Liu. Continuing super drivers, that's for sure. Up the inside goes Lee. Lights ablaze, and there's nothing between them. Touching almost the Ferrari and the Audi, side by side, down the main straight here at Fuji. It doesn't get any better than this.
Lee just got the line.
Oh, and drag race past our commentary position. The fans in, the crowd are going absolutely wild for this. Now you've got to break. One of you've got to flinch. Who's going to take the showdown of Fuji? And it is the Audi.
Does he run right? They look at the run. Anthony Luke's got out of turn 1, Jonathan.
Track commentator losing his mind. I can hear in the background. We're doing the same. Fantastic racing here. And look at it, they're still side by side. Through goes the Audi.
Incredible stuff.
But Liu is not going to give this one up easily.
No, definitely not, because every point counts for that number 37 Ferrari 488. Remember that the guys leading the race at the moment in the Hurricane Lamborghini sits second in the championship, just a few points behind that number 37 car. That 37 car has to get as many points as they can. It needs to move forward in this race if they want to maintain their lead in the championship heading out of Japan.
And then, of course, don't forget, it's the Pro-Am Cup. We've got to keep an eye on Sean Thong ahead of Anthony Liu at the moment. Andrew Kim in that mix, so is Biram Bhakti. And Alex Howe also currently in 5th position. Vutikorn also will move up the board if he stays where he is. Here we go again. And a little nudge perhaps from the Ferrari. I cannot believe they put an engine in this morning.
Let me tell
Look
you
at
something.
it go. He goes wide there, messes that up.
Jonathan, let me just fill you in what's actually happening here. These two guys are slowing themselves down, but Ashley Walsh is catching them up, and the Aston Martin, he's only a couple of seconds, he's lapping in the second and a half. There he is in the background. That dice is going to get very exciting very soon.
There's the leader into turn 1. 46 minutes to go. I'd add another 46 to the clock. This is too good for fun. Sauer goes through in second place to the number 8 Bentley. Then it's Vutikorn. Then the battle we've been watching. Like you say, there is the Aston Martin just in the distance, and I say just, it really is a case of that.
Well, he's just caught up another second that lap, so he is really on fire, is Ashley Walsh.
Toybert and Bhakti now under pressure from Frank Yu. Frank Yu with a tough race yesterday, had a slip and was so close to going so well, but then had to come back, still made the podium, and he wants to hand the car over to Richard Lyons and give Richard Lyons a chance to stretch his legs somewhat, because we know that Lyons is quick, and we know that the Porsche's been quick here. This has been the best performance by the all-new Porsche this weekend.
Now, I just want to point out at this point in time that we also have a success penalty in this championship, Jonathan. The more podiums you get, the more time you have to spend in the pits. And the magic time that I'm looking at, if I look at the different cars, the Lamborghini has to actually stop in the pits for 9 seconds longer than mostly everybody else. It's got an 8-second lead in this race.
They're doing exactly their own time then. Perfect.
If when they come in, they're going to have to wait 9 seconds longer, it's going to pull them back to the rest of the field.
That's going to be agonisingly slow as we take a look at another battle further down, and that is Au, the Au and Young car, Phoenix Racing. We'll take a look at the other Phoenix car of Lee Thong. Marchie Lee, always an exciting prospect in any kind of car, but of course he's been an Audi man for a few years now. Remember him coming up through the ranks of single-seaters, and he was exciting then.
Yeah, that battle between those two guys seems to have calmed down a little bit now. Oh, Marchie Lee is coming in.
Now that's interesting. He's coming in for that drive-through penalty because of the collision. Okay,
so there we go. That has been deemed to be his fault. Drive-through penalty.
Not a surprise.
Well, he won't be happy with that. I mean, it's not our decision to make, but there's the stewards have looked at it, and the decision has been made.
Yeah, turn 6, you saw it yourselves, and you know, I said the same. I thought, just come on, man, you got to turn in.
Well, the only way that he did manage to turn in was hitting the side of the Singer car,
yeah.
And you know, that helped him turn and knock the Singer car off the track. So
the first major turn of this race involves Marchie Lee in the Audi R8. As we take a look at the championship contenders, Amici and Liberati, just 23 years of age, the man from Rome, really enjoying racing here in Asia. Spoke to him over the weekend, and they're a real couple of chirpy chappies, these two young Italians. They're fast, they're fiery, good-looking fellas, and they just want to race all day long.
And you know what? They've never been here before. They're getting down towards lap record pace at the moment. 41.3 is very, very close to the lap record around here. 41.1 was the qualifying time of Richard Lyons the other day, so that just tells you how fast these guys are circulating in the Triple F by ACM Racing Lamborghini.
So then we look back now at the Porsche, the VLT Porsche, and of course Darryl Young will be at the wheel of that after the pit stops. And of course Darryl, the current champion, but it's been a really tough start, really, first half of the season. They're hoping to improve, as are both Porsches. As you can see them behind a stern right now, and we're talking to them about the conditions, and both drivers actually quite sensibly said, look, you know, we don't think we can really win in the dry. We look good in the wet. We don't think we've got the performance in the car yet, but we're learning, and we're learning about this new car, and every time we get a chance to race it and develop it, we want that chance, and that's how they see this race. They're not expecting to win. Racing against each other is a good idea,
Okay, after you've said all that, who was fastest in the dry on Friday?
Richard Lyons.
In what? A Porsche.
Okay.
So I think the
I take it all
Porsche.
back.
I think the Porsche is a very, very good car.
Fair enough.
Just want to point out that the pit stops will be in about 8 minutes. It's 4:30 local time, 4:38 and 19 seconds. The pit stop window will open for 10 minutes when the drivers have to make their changeover.
We welcome you across Asia on Fox Sports. We hope you're enjoying this live coverage of GT Asia. What a battle we've got. We've got two fiery Italians out front in an Italian car. It's Andrea Amici about to hand over to Liberati. Right now we're watching Frank Yu trying to get on level terms with Bidon Bakti as they head back up the hill. Fuji so distinctive in terms of a circuit. We've got a long straight at the top, and then the long run down the bottom of the hill, and then all the way back up to this weaving snake-like course. And this is where the Porsche tends to be very good indeed. So it could be the Bentley can get on terms.
There's Andrew Kim in the background there as well. Adley Fong's teammate. Adley sitting there waiting for Andrew to come to the pit box. He's trying to go around the outside.
Yeah, if he can just get some space between him, I'd love to hand the car over to Adley. Saw both of them this morning, and tails up for sure. And you can see he's flashing the lights saying, I'm coming through.
Yeah, if you haven't
like
seen,
it or not.
If you haven't seen round 7, make sure you get to watch that, because Frank Yu and that Interrush Porsche was under a lot of pressure yesterday, and he handled it well. So a little bit of light flashing is not going to bother him too much today.
GTAsiaSeries.com. Go to Facebook for the same reason, and you can find it. Plenty of action from round 7 and 8. Fuji, though, is just special, isn't it? It's such an iconic circuit.
I mean, I know the drivers love coming here. There's been a lot of drivers that have driven here before, and some that haven't. The two Italians haven't, and they just are getting faster and faster every lap.
But ask the question, in 4th place now, Anthony Liu. What a drive from the back, and he's going to hand the car, there he is, going to hand the car over to his teammate Davide Rizzo, who will be chomping at the bit, I'm sure.
Look at this, though. It's certainly closed up at the front. They've caught up to the back of in Trabuvacak. And there's Walsh, the Aston Martin. Remember, the Aston Martin is a very competitive car. It won the championship last year.
Duncan Tappy will be getting in the car after this stint, and he too is a world-class driver in a Bentley and a McLaren, in any kind of car you want. And Duncan, the Brit, again, looking forward to this.
I still love that Bentley 4-litre V8 twin-turbo car.
It sounds so good, doesn't it?
You do. You just put your foot on the accelerator and it just goes. Definitely drives off the turn well.
And let's have a look. We, like you say, the drag race again down the straight. You mentioned the balance of performance. Well, they're identical. There's nothing between them down the straight. Everybody talked previous to the weekend about Ferrari's straight line speed. And yes, they got great straight line speed, but as you can see, it's not that fantastic compared to the Bentley or necessarily the Aston Martin behind. So there you go.
Well, that is the good thing about this championship. It really does come down to the drivers a lot. You know, if you can drive good, if you can get a better car set up, you can drive off the corner, get the slipstream and make the pass. But as you can see, there's great racing here in this class.
Well, the spirit of Mok, so to speak, is in that car in the middle, because of course Mok Wen-sung, the most successful driver of our series in a Ferrari, won several times, but now his engine gracefully put in a championship contender car of the BBT team. And Mok and Clearwater Racing surely be back next year. They're also doing some Le Mans as well. And of course, not taking part in the 24 Hours of Le Mans this year. Looking to go back there next year.
Yeah, if you want to know how successful he is, Jonathan, he's had 13 wins in this championship. I mean, that just goes to show you what sort of driver he is.
Yeah, and 4 of them were here.
Well,
Anthony Liu perilously close to the back of the Bentley.
yeah, they're strong in different areas, the cars, aren't they? You can just see the acceleration of the Bentley.
Contact between 5 and 91.
So that is, of course, Sean Long marching lead car, and
No further action taken by the stewards on that one.
Darryl Young, so that's good to see.
Wow, catch your breath. Amici still leading by 13 seconds, and that's significant because as we come ever closer to those pit stops, Amici wanted that extra 9 seconds that they're going to have to add on because of their success yesterday, and they have put themselves in a very, very good bird seat for the next stint because 13 seconds is just what they needed.
Absolutely, that is a great lead, and probably the biggest lead that we've seen all year from any of the cars.
Kim in 8th position now, behind you. But I'm back to you ahead of him. Walsh still 5th, and then it's Anthony Liu 4th, the man you're watching right now.
I've got to say, great job to the Matt Stone, the Ledecky Racing team.
Yeah.
To second race in this championship, and they're
And
right
it's
up.
sliding through there as well.
It really is giving it everything that it can.
And let's just make this clear. Ashley Walsh, the youngster from Australia, currently in the Carrera Cup of Australia and has raced in V8s before that, has never seen this car before this weekend, but look at him go.
Yeah, he's definitely never driven a GT car, so great for him to be able to get into it in minimal driving time as well, to a track that he's never been to, and able to run with the regulars. It's a great testament to his driving ability.
All right, Anthony, give it a go. He's all over the back of Vuticorn, but he's got to be careful because look how close the Aston is. He certainly wants to dab at him, doesn't he? He just keeps making the odd mistake when he gets so close to the Bentley that he can't get past it. The Aston's now looking for a way past. They come out of the last corner, a little bit of a wiggle by the Bentley.
He's only going to hold him off for about another lap, because I reckon that in another lap, the window should be open there or thereabouts.
Here we go. The draft. Can the Aston get past? Walsh looking for his way past the Ferrari. They cross the line. Bentley's trying to stay out of it.
He's gone to the outside.
I don't think he's going to get through over there. Oh, and what a maneuver! Definite braking problem by Vuticorn there. He made a mistake and through went the Ferrari and the Aston Martin looking for a way past too. What a race this is turning out to be for Anthony Liu.
Anthony Liu just got on the brakes so late at the end of the straight there and let Vuticorn had nowhere to go.
Ironically, that dirt that you saw on the inside of that last corner was still down. Here we go. Through goes the Aston on the Bentley.
What a great manoeuvre.
2 British marks going at it.
V12 versus V8, of course.
The Aston Martin's been so successful around the world over the last few years, including here in GT Asia. And so the pit window is now open. There you see it. And that means we are getting ready for the pit stops. Now, how quickly will they come in? Now, compared to round 7, it's usual that the guys will come in as quickly as they can because they want to hand over to the faster, the professionals who are obviously going to go at a quicker pace. And then immediately the leader comes in, Amici. Now, this is such an important and critical pit stop.
Absolutely, he knows that he's got one of the longer pit stops, so it's very smart to come in early. The reason that he's done that is because he knows that his teammate is very fast. It's going to give him a lot longer time towards the end of the race for Eduardo to make the most of the time and get the time back that he loses in the pit stop.
So then, they have a timekeeper as a sponsor, and now they've got to get their timing right for sure. Up on the jacks they go.
They should have plenty of new slicks to put on as well, because we haven't used many of those this weekend, so should be fresh rubber going on to that number 55 Hurricane Lamborghini.
So it's 36 seconds, that's how long the pit window, and what that means is why that countdown clock is there is to tell everyone just how long they've got to get into the pits and make their pit stops. What drivers, what tyres are they going to? And as you can see, that's the action that's going on here.
Duncan Tappy getting into the car now as well. Another set of bags going onto the Bentley.
Yeah, Duncan Tappy's so impressive, and I think he's ready to go. Now, Liberati just holding station. Eduardo Liberati.
There he is, serving that time penalty, of course.
In comes the number 7. Li Fong will now get at the wheel.
Now this car was a winner last time out in Okayama, so Li Fong is definitely a great driver to have in this second stint.
This has got to be the hardest part of any race. To sit there in silence, waiting for the clock to tick down, desperate to get going, desperate to get the revs going. In comes the Group M Porsche, still circulating, the number 8 of Sauer and Venter. Now comes the Lamborghini, and also followed by the Bentley. It's swap over time here at Fuji. And this is interesting because, as you can see,
Cold tyres, remember cold tyres?
yeah, he was a little bit side by side, look at them. And of course, the Bentley yet to pit. And quite rightly, Eduardo Liberati letting him through. And in a moment, they will come in the number 8 Bentley.
Yeah, effectively that car is second in the race at the moment with Sauer at the wheel. He'll come in, and Jonathan Venter. Remember that car won race round 1 and round 2 at the start of the year, but they haven't had a lot of success and had a lot of trouble since then, actually. So they really do need to get a good result here this weekend.
Yeah, they all sorts of drama last time out, a couple of weeks ago in Okayama when the turbo went and melted the whole thing.
Yeah, first off they were turned around in round 6, and then in round 7, that's right, the turbo clamp broke, the turbo came off, all the hot exhaust gases melted everything under the bonnet, so it was a bit of a nightmare weekend for the Absolute Racing team with car number 8.
Back up the hill we come with 6 minutes remaining in the pit window.
Duncan Tappy out there now too. Duncan Tappy doing a good job to be able to hang on to the back, number 55.
Well, we know what Duncan can do, and Liberati is going to be under a lot of pressure throughout the rest of this stint for sure. Down the main straight they come. Here comes the GTC cars competitors. Now comes the Bentley, and jumping into the car next.
Of course, they've got to stick to a strict speed limit down pit lane, 60 kilometres an hour. Jonathan Venter will be getting into that car soon. As Sauer gets out, Venter will be getting in.
So then, cracking race as Frank Yu jumps across the pit wall. In comes the Bentley.
There's Venter on the left-hand side of your screen, just waiting to get in. Have a quick word to Sauer, make sure that everything's okay with the car. And obviously, everything's just swapped over. There's the compensation time for the number 8 Bentley, 101 seconds it has to sit in the pits. Put that into perspective, the time for the Lamborghini, because it had such good success recently, 110, so 9 seconds less for the Bentley.
Intriguing race as Liberati at the wheel with the lights blazing now. Can they take their first victory? Not if Tappy has anything to say about it, that's for sure. Duncan Tappy in the Bentley.
Duncan Tappy's done a fantastic job, hasn't he? He's having a bit of a look at the front of the car there.
Just checking it's clear. They've got a little bit of time. As you say, 101 seconds seems to go on forever, I'm sure. Now we saw a brilliant second stint by Amici in round 7. In the closing stages of the race, but of course that was such a different race because of the conditions. Remains to be seen what they can do.
Well, this could be the track for the Lamborghini. I mean, yesterday in the wet it was sensational, and I think that here in the dry today it's certainly doing a good job as well. It's been a long time since we've had a Lamborghini win, so this is a big moment for this team.
Here comes the Bentley then, out of the pit lane, and it's going to be close, that's for sure. He's up to speed. Oh, and he locks it up. That wasn't a good start to his campaign. Gone very wide indeed.
Cold tyres. He's got to go over the grass.
Oh, that's not easy to rejoin at all, but he's rejoined just in second place.
Yeah, now it's close. Jonathan Venter behind the wheel. We know how he can drive, but he's got cold tyres. He's got to be really careful that he warms them up.
He's got cold tyres and he's flat spotted him probably.
And now he's got Duncan Tappy to contend with as well.
So, 2 Bentleys going at it at Fuji. Meanwhile, the Lamborghini trying to get off into the distance. Through goes Tappy.
Yeah, that was going to happen because Duncan's tyres are up to temperature. We saw what happens when you exit the pit lane if you don't let your tyres get up to temperature. Big lock-ups and you just go straight off the track.
If you haven't pitted yet, it's time to do so with a lap time of 1:50, and there's just 2 minutes or just over to go.
Of course, a 10-minute window the guys have got to come in. That will be closing shortly.
Well, this Japanese crowd love their racing. We saw the pit walk this morning, and there was thousands of people looking at the cars and getting a picture with their heroes. And back with the Bentley pit as they look somewhat concerned. In comes the 73 car, that of Funai and Ueda into the pit lane. I can see just above my commentary position. And the battle is on still for GTC.
Yeah, they had a good run yesterday in round 7. They nearly took the win, so great drive by them. There's David Rizzo and Anthony Lucar in the background as well, just behind the Aston Martin.
As you see, Funai and Ueda, they are in the pit, in the 73 car, but they are now in the pit, so that will change now back to Liberati in the lead. And we've been spending quite a lot of time with FFF Racing Team all season, and it's been an interesting story. Very passionate team, as you'd expect from any Italian outfit, but with an English manager who's just as passionate about his racing. And of course, as I mentioned, the sponsors here this weekend, Roger Dubois, and it's going to be interesting to see if they can take that victory, because they would love nothing more than to do that here in Japan.
There was another interesting guy hanging around down near the pits with them too, the F1 driver.
Yeah, Mark Brewer's down there, the F3 driver, yeah. Right. Yeah, just one here in Formula 3 in Japan, the youngster from Wales. His career just flying at the moment. Great opportunity for these two Italians to shine, and they're taking it.
Yeah, they really are. It's a fantastic drive for them at the moment. Eduardo doing a good job. I mean, to be honest, they did start the year off a little bit rough. Crashes that they shouldn't have had, put it that way. They cross the line again. We'll get a decent idea of exactly the gaps and exactly what needs to be done. So, a 142.7 by Liberati. Tappi, on the other hand, a 143.5. The gap is 3.7 seconds. That's a pretty comfortable lead to have at this stage of the race, and they're lapping just that little bit quicker than the guys in second and third. Of course, Vence is still getting up to speed at the moment.
Yeah.
But keep an eye on Medecki. Medecki's last lap was a 42.9, quicker than everybody except the leader in front. Okay, so
Pit window is now closed, so if you haven't stopped, it's too late, but I think they all have.
yeah, I mean, if anybody's still out there that hasn't stopped, they'll get a drive-through penalty as well. So definitely the team is
We're looking at two of the greats of Asian motorsport, Alex Young and our current champion, Daryl O'Young.
Yeah, Alex Young's got to come from a long way back if they're going to get on the podium for this one. He drove brilliantly last time out off the other, but 30 seconds off the lead at the moment is Alex Young in the Phoenix Racing Audi R8.
Yeah, it's not been an easy weekend for any of the Audis, actually. I didn't actually predict they would have a really strong weekend. We know their aerodynamics are brilliant. It's great line speed, maybe not so much. And likewise, the Porsches, well, we're not sure just exactly where they are yet, because this is really the first full stretch of dry time that they've had. You mentioned Richard Lyons is very quick. But really, Daryl O'Young hasn't had a Daryl O'Young kind of weekend yet. We're expecting from him.
He hasn't had a Daryl O'Young kind of year, really. I mean, it has taken him a while to get this Porsche, up to speed, learn the car. Remember that the team haven't dealt with a Porsche before either, so it's not the sort of car that you just get in and drive. You really have to acquaint yourself with the nuances of the Porsche, and don't be worried, they'll adapt for sure.
Yeah.
And we've already seen a Porsche on the podium this year, so the car can do it. It's just a matter of all the dots lining up.
Yeah, and Daryl was very nonchalant, if you will, about it this morning, saying, look, we're developing it, it is what it is. We'll race as hard as we can. Now we go back to the GTC class, and there's the number 73. Ueda leading in the GTC class, and this would be a very, very popular win if they could get it. The Japanese entry.
They came close yesterday, and they're definitely doing a good job out there at the moment, holding off Birenback in the Singer Plan B car. So a good job by the Japanese. But you'd expect that at home, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and of course they race this car on the 458 Challenge here in Japan. Does Toshihito Funai.
Yeah, it'd be good to see them come to China, of course, next time out.
Yeah, it's great to see the crossover because, of course, Japanese racing, generally speaking, over the last 20 years or so, somewhat insular. They've got such a great program, a great series of different races here in Japan. But now to see the likes of Sao and Funai joining GT Asia, Hamaguchi as well, in the last few years, great to see that this is an option for them. Venter and Sao now up to speed as Venter puts in a 142.9. Now he's on the pace. Steve. Now can he chase down Tappy, I wonder? There's the gap between them.
He's definitely quicker than Tappy at the moment by a tenth or two per lap, but I mean, both of these drivers are fairly evenly matched, so I would say that Venter's going to give it everything he's got. He's got nothing to lose now. The championship's pretty much out the window for him with the non-finishes he's had. He's flashing his lights there, trying to put pressure on the pink Bentley in front, Duncan's happy at the wheel, but you know, if he doesn't finish the race, it doesn't matter. He's got to go for those podiums, second place, wins, whatever he can do.
Really impressed with George Badecki. He's right up there, 142.7 last time out. He's certainly up to pace now. This is second outing that we get with the series, and up to speed without a doubt. To hold off Rizzo as he's doing and maintaining that gap. Superb.
Yeah, the Aston Martin is performing brilliantly at this track. I mean, I just can't believe how the guys have stepped up from Podium. Of course, George Badecki's dad, Andrew Badecki, had some success at this racetrack as well, back racing Cosworth Sierra. So I guess it runs in the family.
It certainly does. Now, another man I'm keeping an eye on, Richard Lyons. We mentioned him earlier, and there he is. He has just put in a brilliant last lap, a fastest lap of everybody out there at the moment at 142.007, and he's just passed the Ferrari, and he's up to 5th place, so he gets past Rizzo. And Lyons, as expected, is racing like a Lionheart at the moment. The Brit on the move here at a track he knows over so well. Every driver that you talk to about this weekend said, oh, Richard Lyons will be good round here.
Well,
and he is.
They're right, because when I look at his fastest lap of the race, it's a 41.5, which is quicker than Liberati last time round. So this is, you're looking at your fastest man on track in a Porsche at the moment.
Well, they say Irish eyes are smiling, and this morning we kind of had a quick word. It was one of those passing kind of, he was passing us, we were passing him. And we said, how do you feel about today? He goes, you know what? If I get the car in a good position, watch me. And it's, here he is.
Well, he's certainly got work to do. He's at the moment 22 seconds off the lead. Going to be difficult from there with only 20 minutes left in this race. But still, that's a second all out.
And Richard is frustrated as a racing driver. He knows how fast he can be, and you could get a sour, relaxing, taking a deep breath. But he knows how quick he can be, and he knows that really this season has not given him and Frank a chance to shine as they expected to or wanted to. And I remember at the beginning of the season, everybody was saying that that combination was going to be potent. Sadly, it just hasn't turned out that way. The second half of the season could be very different, though, indeed, as they pass the two Bentleys, pass the GTC man, not an overtake, full position. They are racing in two different categories, of course. Katasawa takes a long drink of water.
I wouldn't say that's a relaxing look. It looks like a recovering look to me.
He's relaxing. Yeah.
But yeah, I think the two Bentleys are about to go to war.
Yes, and finally Venter up to speed. The man who's counting on his degree in February in accounting.
Well, he needs to be good with numbers if he's going to pull this one off.
18 minutes and 45 to go. Onto the main straight they come. Two Bentleys battling it out here. The Fuji International Speedway. And on go the lights. I was finding out about those lights, you know. When you hit the button once, they flash 4 times. There's nothing you can do about it. It's not that they're getting frantic, it's just that that's how it works.
Well, absolutely. It's just the same behind your thumb. They do that, of course. It's the lights flashing to put the pressure on the driver in front, but pretty much with the professional drivers out there, it doesn't make that much difference. We've got someone going into the pits. Yeah, he's got to have had a stop and go penalty and a hold for 2 seconds.
in the pits. Meanwhile, the Bentley battle continues. Liberati, meanwhile, 5.5 seconds down the road.
That's a pretty good lead by Liberati.
He's giving every signal he can to number 8. He wants by.
Well, 17 minutes of pressure on the man in front, Duncan Tappy. I think Venter is going to have a crack.
Now they've gotten into traffic again, so there's another opportunity here for Jonathan. As they come up the hill and he gets out of the way, or does he? No, he's still right there at centre stage. My best advice for Jonathan would tuck himself into and behind that Bentley as they come onto the straight, which they do now. Out of the way comes the championship leader in GTC, Grasai. Down that straight they come. Lights ablaze on the Bentley. Tappy's seen it all before. Flat out. 2:30, 2:60 at this point here. Fastest part of this 1.5 kilometre long straight of the Bentley. The Albert can't do it. Venter can't get through, or can he?
Oh, he's so close now.
Cracking racing. This for second and third, remember. He tucks himself in again, looks to the inside. It's dirty on the inside there where the Ferrari went off yesterday, but he's going to risk it anyway.
That was a big
Now
move.
Keta Sauer's loving it just as much as we are. Yeah, Keta, get into it, son.
Now that's a relaxing look.
That's the relaxed look as Venter goes through to second place. Brilliant leader.
That was a great move up the inside, 155 k's an hour. Entry into that corner, third gear. So great job by Jonathan Venter. Doesn't have a lot of dry time in this car, and definitely not a lot of driving time. Didn't get much at Okayama a couple of weeks ago.
Carlo Van Dam at the wheel of the Ferrari, the winning Ferrari from round 7. And Carlo Van Dam looking to try to take the number 12 further up the field, the 9th at the moment.
Well, they had that spin, didn't they? But what could have been his fastest lap of the lap is actually the fastest lap of the race is 41.1, which is 0.2 quicker than the car leading the race. So that could have been definitely a contender to win the race, but hadn't got caught up in March Lee earlier on.
And he's right there with Darrell Young, as you can see. Young in 9th position. Fantastic crowd here. And they've been coming in all morning. Some of the big queues this morning, and flash of the lights now. Tammy doesn't want to get here's that overtake again.
Yeah, it's a great job. Dove down
superb.
the inside.
Not the usual place you'd overtake,
No, he got a great drive out of turn 1.
because you do risk going wide and slingshotting out.
Well, especially into turn 3, yeah, but great job. And there's Smile at Sal. Oh, bit of off-track action there from
I'm going to say,
Jonathan
where was
Venter.
he going there? Well, I think the great market just played a role there for a moment. 14 minutes to go in this round GT Asia. We welcome you live across Asia on Fox Sports. Hope you're enjoying the action of round 8. We've got a lot more racing to come. 2 races in China. We head to Shanghai in August. And there may be a few surprises to come.
Yeah, it'd be good to see what happens there, that's for sure. But talk about surprises, I think that Duncan Tappy, if he's not careful, he's going to have a big surprise, because the Decky is definitely catching up. But just behind them, Richard Lyons is closing the gap quickly.
Yeah, we expected the big boys who are track experts here to come through, the likes of Lyons, Carlo Van Dam. He's not making easy work of getting past Darrell Young, and well, he wouldn't. A man who's got such a pedigree, certainly with Porsche. He's Mr. Porsche, is Darrell Young. Multiple Carrera Cup wins, championships, and of course, raced for many years in the World Touring Car Championship, and that was a little too close for comfort.
Of course, this new 991 Porsche is like no other Porsche. It's a completely new car for this year, which is perhaps what's thrown the team a little bit, taken a little bit longer than they thought to come to grips with the car conditions. In the wet, of course, brilliant, but in the dry, a little bit finicky. But you've got to say that Richard Lyons is doing a great job out there at the moment.
Yeah, Carlo Van Dam, of course, was reminding us that as we watch the Formula 3, the Japanese Formula 3, former champion of Formula 3 here in Japan, at this circuit 4 times. So it's certainly a place he knows well. They cross the line again. Liberati's gap, 7 shock having to give to Carlo Van Dam in the number 12, and he does so. Through goes the Dutchman.
Tight on the exit, they managed to do it, and now he can start to make his way forward through the field, Jonathan. Just the top speed there once again of the 4.58, working well at the circuit.
I'll tell you what, Rizzo and Liu will be well pleased as we look at the leader again with a 6th place overall after the shenanigans that they've had, and they'll be thanking Mok Wen-sung, who kindly and gracefully let his engine go to them. Not in contention this year, Mok Wen-sung, but he is our most successful driver. He will be back, I'm sure, with Clearwater Racing.
Yeah, I mean, what a great team, the Clearwater Racing team. You've really been part of this series for a long time.
What a gesture.
You've got to say that, don't you, for the team to sit down, think about it, think, let's say, put Ferrari first.
Yeah.
And, you know, to donate that 488 engine, I'd hate to think how much they're worth.
Well,
but, you know, there you go, there's the engine, and great effort.
Well, unlike so much of the other sort of motorsport, GT Asia is all about the marks. As we take a look at Carlo again, and it's all about Ferrari versus Porsche versus Lamborghini. And in this case, Ferrari going through. This is going to turn out to be a very good weekend for the Singer Motorsport team. And there they are. Bit of Bakti in the seat on the right. After his first stint, gives us a wave. Thank you. But he really impressed me this weekend, and I think he's enjoyed his weekend. We were talking to both of them about how they practice, because there's not, the cars are in containers, so they can't actually take the cars out. They do a lot of simulator work together.
They certainly do get in the simulator. I just can't believe how realistic they are, and that racing car drivers use the simulator to help them drive.
Ask Jan Markenberg. He's just won in Formula 3 here, and he won in Gran Turismo for the Nissan Academy a few years ago, back in 2011, and now he is literally living the dream here in Japan, because he's doing the real Gran Turismo. Amazing.
Look at the brakes line.
Look at this. What a battle.
Oh.
What a battle. 73 versus 59. This is
The Singer Plan B car really on the back now of the Noyura Age Racing team from Japan, of course.
yeah, and he's having to defend
How aggressive.
big time.
Look at the front brakes line up.
Yeah, superb racing, and he knows he's in a battle now. Got to side bet on Bakti, got to side the wheel. It's all right. Really on it at the moment, and he wants this at home. He, of course, has been the stalwart of the series. The man in front of him just coming in this weekend. Kunai, with bags of experience, so they know each other's game. Meanwhile, the BBT Ferrari comes through. Rizzo makes a spot as the big boys come through. And Rizzo under pressure himself from the Audi.
Alex Young, of course, there just behind him. We haven't seen much of him this weekend, have we?
No, that's played into the hands of the number 73 for sure. As they came through, they kind of split the GTC class drivers. Now, Rizzo flashes the lights to let him know that he's coming through, and he wants that easy passage to turn 1, and he's not going to get there. It shows you, and he has just got there. Now, Alex has gone with him. Good driving. The ex-Formula 1 star goes through, putting the pressure back on Rizzo.
His form has certainly improved towards the later half of this year. He had a great run last time out in Okayama. Really good to see him coming to grips with the new Audi.
9 minutes to go in this enthralling encounter here at Fuji International Speedway. Liberati and Amici for FFF Racing Team. Whoa. Big moment there, and he got through. Well, we knew that battle would get back together again, and there you go. There's the celebration. And they like that. That was plan B and plan A. All in one.
Great move there.
Yeah, excellent move. And that changes the complexion. And talking of changing the complexion, through goes Alex Young. Meanwhile, Carlo's trying to get past. He doesn't want to be embroiled in this battle. Leave you boys to it.
Got through nice and clean, though. Good move there by Carlo Van Dam.
Kantasak Kursai and Burit Burim Bakti, the team that leading now in GTC in that number 59 all black car.
Of course, the Thai team, Singer sponsored. Good to see them take it to the Japanese here at home.
Yeah, no question. So, 8 minutes remain. The gap between Liberati and Venta is 8.3 seconds. At the moment, Liberati's up the pace. He's on a 142.4 last time out. Meanwhile, we continue to watch this battle as Young man you're looking at in the number 6 Audi goes up to 6th place for Phoenix Racing.
Lyons is making his way forward as well, Jonathan. That gap coming down to Andrew Radecki. It's just down to a couple of seconds now.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that as well. Van Dam in 8th position. It's interesting comparing the R8 with the 488 Ferrari. Both brand new cars, and not sure we've seen the best of the Audi just yet.
Well, they have won with Marchie Lee and Sean
I'm
Fox.
talking about, yeah, exactly, over a weekend though, I mean.
Not this weekend. They haven't shown this weekend, but I don't think it's been a good weekend to show what the car can do due to the weather. It's been a really weather-affected event, so there's no reason why that car can win this weekend if everything went right.
That distinctive helmet cover which he's had since he was, 16 years of age. Alex Young, Malaysian flag and blazed. He really did blaze a trail for Malaysian racing too. And many have followed, of course, and now Malaysian racing second to none in Asia. Flashing the lights is Sugden in the number 98. Not the most impressive weekend for them either. On the podium last time out in Okayama, down in 11th right now and chasing.
Sean Fox, of course, in the gold. Beautiful R8, isn't it?
Yeah. I have to say, it's still my favourite colour scheme for sure. Dongo, of course, racing hard. He wants points as well. Oh, no! That's a very slow number 17.
That's got to be a mechanical issue.
That's Asai and Seto.
That's a pity for them. The GTC car, the Rossa Scuderia team, some sort of issue.
Yeah, definitely. And again, Sugden flashing the lights for Yorkshireman, wanting by the number 5. But like I said, Sean Don is battling for his own prize of wanting to finish this weekend and maintain that lead in the Pro-Am Cup.
So, a lot of pressure from Tim Sugden, and it's
Sugden.
Sugden up the inside.
Well, nicely done. High and wide and then turn in tight. That's exactly what he teaches, I'm sure, because he has been looking after several young drivers.
It's not over yet, though, Jonathan.
No, it's not, is it? Back he goes. Sugden will have to build again, and now he's in trouble. Oh, he just saved that, but look at that much time he's lost. He had to let off there. There's grass on the exit of each of those corners, and if you get on the power too early there, it's so easy to get it wrong and spin round, because even though it's dry on track, that grass is damp and wet for sure.
Once again, that Porsche as well, doing some impressive lap times in the 41s. Was Sugden during his stint, so the Porsche, once again, good opportunity for that Porsche to, perform well if it had a better weekend.
Yeah, and as you can see, just a little too wide. The Audi manages to gather it, and that's all it took for that battle to be effectively over for now anyway. He's got 4 minutes to do it, and he could catch up perhaps in the next lap, and certainly try, that's for sure. But as we head down to the closing stages of round 8, and we're back to the all-Ferrari battle between the 37 and the 12. That for 7th and 8th position. Your leaderboard looks like this. Liberati and Amici leading by 8 seconds over Venter and Sauer. Through the inside goes 12. And Carlo Van Dam makes up another spot. Up to 7th now.
Yeah, nice clean move by Carlo Van Dam there. We know that the 458's got a higher top speed due to less downforce. You can physically see it in the width of the cars there. The difference as to why the 488's got more downforce. But the 488 should be stronger from this point to the end.
Two of the busiest drivers in our series. Rizzo racing in Europe last weekend, and Carlo racing in TCR in Thailand. So there you go, taking on Jack Lembard in Thailand as well. And now taking on the mighty GT Asia.
Carlo Van Dam knows that Blue Ram circuit very well by now.
So, 3.5 minutes to go. Look how far Carlo's pulled away in a matter of seconds. Back with the number 88. Richard Lyons on a flyer. 42.2 last time, 3/10 quicker than Tappy. Well, there is Tappy in front of him. Has he got time to catch him?
Oh, this is exciting. This is for the podium.
I know.
Lyons could get that car on the podium.
Well, down the straight they come. Into rush, and that's exactly what they are. Trying to get on level terms with the Bentley at the moment. They cross the line. Let's have a look at the times. Tappy, 43.
1 second to lap. lap.
And he is. He's very quick at the moment, this Lions. Tappy is hanging on in there. They flash the lights.
I don't think Tappy's going to make this easy for Richard, do you?
He's certainly not going to make it easy, but at the moment, in terms of the times, he's a sitting duck because Lions is so much quicker, certainly in that last lap of 42.0. It's almost a 42 flat compared to Tappy's 43.
It's one thing to catch up to the back.
It's another to pass.
It's another pass,
I
especially with the squirt out of the corners that the big Bentley has got. It's got really good drive out of the corners. The turbo's kicking in.
Oh, but Lions is so quick through that mid-speed corner.
Lions just needs to get some good drive somewhere and nip up the inside. He seems to be very quick through sector 3, this Richard Lions. Perhaps that's where he's going to overtake.
Well, with 2 minutes to go, they should get up and over the line before the 2 minutes is out. And that means there'll be one more lap for them to compete against each other as Lions looks for a moment up the inside, really just trying to intimidate Tappy.
Yeah, he wants to keep Tappy looking in the mirrors. That's what he wants to do. Keep Tappy concentrating on him rather than the job at hand. Hope he makes some mistakes, stick his nose on the inside and make his way through. But he's running out of time, Jonathan.
Back up the hill. Down to 70k through here. Back on the power. Up to just over 100 and then tapping it down to 80 for the last corner. And a little wiggle by the Bentley, and that's allowed the Porsche to get right on level terms and right behind. They're side by side and through goes Lions. And he made easy work of that. And that was pole position as they crossed the line with 1 minute and 18 to go. Richard Lions looking for the podium. They were on the podium in round 7. But now Lions wants the glory.
He got great drive, didn't he, out of that last turn. Ducking Tappy on the brakes.
Oh, Tappy thinks about it and he might be very careful indeed. He almost outbraked himself and banged into the back of the Porsche, but managed to hold on. Meanwhile, Liberati and Amici lead this race by 9 seconds. Here's a look. That's where the Bentley got out of shape, and that's pretty much what allowed the Porsche to come alongside.
Yeah, great move there by Richard Lyons. Got the gas down nice and clean, and that's what the Porsche is good at, getting all the power that it's got to the ground, and it did it perfectly out of that last turn.
So, Lions in 3rd place now as we make back to the leaders, looking for their first victory. Steve, we saw it this morning. We kind of predicted it this morning. We said, is this the day to the team when we saw them? And they said, we think so. We've got everything in order. We've got everything planned out. We know what we have to do. We've got the drivers to do it. We feel like we've got the car. We want it to stay dry. That's exactly what it's done. And with just 10 seconds to go, a famous victory then for the 2 Italians, Liberati and Amici, and more importantly, the Lamborghini Hurricane, the brand new Lamborghini, going to take its first win in Asia. The number 55, a sweet sounding number 55. The checkered flag is out. And Eduardo Liberati takes the checkered flag. That's Amore.
What a great victory.
Superb stuff. Ichiban, as they say in Japan. And they are the FFF Racing Team win for the first time in 2016. And there's Andrea Amici slapping everybody on the back, picking them up, doing it Italiano style. Bye. Brilliant stuff. And, well, he slows right down to Eduardo. I hope he doesn't run out of fuel.
Well, he doesn't want this lap to finish. That's the thing. I mean, he's just had the best drive of the year so far for that team. So, great result for them. You know what? I haven't calculated it yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're leading the championship now.
They're going to be close, that's for sure. If not leading the championship, but I think they will be, yes. Because, of course, Rizzo and BBT have finished in 8th position. Let's just check on the results. Obviously, Venter coming over in 2nd place. In the excitement, Lions, you saw yourselves going through to 3rd place to get ahead of Tappy. And Madeki, what a result for Matt Stone Racing. Excellent stuff.
Yeah, top flight finish for them as well. Let's hope that they can continue on to the next round.
And meanwhile, Chris Sai and Ben Bakti for the Singer Plan B Motorsport team, winners in GTC. Good result. It was a good battle too between Funai and Kusai, and of course he so wanted to win here. Bit of competition.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, gee, those boys were driving those GTC cars to the limit today.
Well, we've had a close look at that car since it began its run in Korea, and it's a beautifully prepared car. just looks the business, doesn't it?
It certainly does. Roger Dubois, the major sponsor, of course. You can see that on the side of the car.
And they are in presence today, looking very carefully at this car and all it's doing. And well, they should.
Everything it's done is right today.
Yeah, they were right on time for sure.
And the Italians are coming good at the right end of the year too, aren't they? They've been getting stronger and stronger throughout the year. That, of course, is their first win, but they've certainly had some podiums.
Well, and of course, because of the wonders of modern technology, as well as live here on Fox Sports in Asia, we are beaming live across the world, and I know that the Italians are watching very closely how their Lamborghini Huracan is doing, and now they've got a chance to celebrate. Yes, it's going to be a famous victory, that for sure, and there'll be a lot of pit lane celebrations, I can assure you. Sean Hansel is going to have his work cut out trying to catch these two Italians for an interview, but we'll get it, we hope. What an enthralling round 8, some great racing, Steve. And, not the dramatic racing of the weather you always see when there's any kind of solution down on the asphalt, and we had exactly that. We had oil, we had dirt, we had rain, and this time dry, but this time excellent racing. And Amici gives his teammate the salute. And these two literally hang out together all the time. They're great mates.
I've never seen.
Look at this.
I've never seen drivers as close. As
No,
that.
and it's healthy to see, because you don't see this camaraderie in modern motorsport, and it's great to see two youngsters like this. Look at him banging his helmet. Look at what it means to Amici. He's so pumped up.
Can you imagine the pressure they've been under? They had a talking to at
Yes, they did.
round 1 in Korea by the factory, the Lamborghini factory.
Yes, by the big boss.
Well, let's hope they get another talking to this weekend.
A good one this time. Yeah, Eduardo, slightly quieter than Amici. He's the more passionate, but they're both Romans, and yep, they've got a chance to celebrate now.
Good job by Venter and Sauer too to come back after a couple of bad rounds, back on the podium for Bentley too.
Good drive by Jonathan, that second stint. So, what an enthralling race. It had everything. Let's
Hello,
head down.
Liberati, Andrea, fantastic drive. First
Here
win
from
in
both of the
Asia.
winners.
How does that feel?
Very good, very good. We did a perfect weekend yesterday, P2 on the rain. Today, P1 by far on the dry. We finally are able to show our potentials. I think now we're leading the championship, but we think to fight race per race.
Andrea, that's not a lot of emotion. You guys have just won. Come on, Edo. You've got to really fire up. That's a great result.
Yeah, great result for us. Incredible job of all the team, because it was incredible, really fast this week. So really happy, but focusing just for next race. We must fight in every round. And thanks to our sponsor, thanks to all the guys of the team, and thanks to my teammate for the great second stint. Thanks.
Edo, anything you'd like to say to all the fans back at home?
Yeah, thanks to all of you that following me. I hope to win also in Shanghai. We will fight for this championship until the end.
Certainly sets up a Shanghai showdown, for sure, without a doubt. So, let's just confirm those results then. Liberati and Amici with the Lamborghini. Their first win of GT Asia 2016. Venter and Sauer in the Bentley in second place, 9 seconds adrift. Porsche taking third position. Good weekend for Lions and you on the podium twice. Tapi and Indra Puvasak of Thailand in fourth position in the Bentley. Aston Martin, great to see them in the series this year, though they haven't been all season long, but they have been for the last 2 rounds, and it's been a good Japan for Matt Stone Racing of Australia. Still plenty of racing to come, and as you can see, plenty to fight for as well. Good result also for the GTC class. Once again, our championship leaders coming through in the number 59 Singer Plan B car. Now, in terms of the championship, you heard it mentioned there by both Amici and Liberati. They're looking already towards Shanghai. And why? Because they now lead the championship. But interestingly enough, guess who's from Shanghai? Davide Rizzo and Anthony Liu. So, it's certainly not over, because the gloves will be off for the Shanghai showdown for sure, as our championship just comes alive. Mark Elise in the mix, 75 points. Adley Fong is there too. Sean Thong with 7 points. And the Pro-Am battle is on as well. Boy, it's heating up nicely. And as you can see,
11th through 20th. All very good drivers indeed, and all capable of race wins. Richard Lyons, Alex Young, Kitasawa, proven drivers and proven winners. Jonathan Venter shouldn't be in 11th place. They've had some problems. They too will be looking to China and more victories. Darrell Young, would you believe it, down in 21st place, the man who won this championship so closely last year in the final round in Thailand. Steve, your thoughts? Amazing.
Absolutely amazing weekend. So happy on so many fronts. I mean, round 7, we managed to see the Porsche get on the podium for the first time this year. The Lamborghini Huracan finally gets that win. I just think it's a great weekend for everybody, except for, I guess, the number 37 car of Anthony Liu and Rizzo.
We head now, as you can hear from the fanfare, live trumpeters here at Fuji. No cost spared, of course, as we head down to the podium.
For GT Asia Series Round 8 overall. All winners are invited to the podium. So, third place, Richard Lyon, flank you, please come up. Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
Second place,
very,
Jonathan
very
Benda and Kitasawa, please come up.
Popular Kitasawa, as always, in Japan.
And the winner of this day, a big congratulations to Eduardo Rivelati and Andrea Amiti, please come in.
Once again, 3 different manufacturers on the podium.
Yep. But more importantly,
We'd like to
Lamborghini,
invite
first-time
Mr.
winners.
Yukimitsu Tanaka, President of Fiscal Club and a member of the event organization committee, to give away the prize to the winners.
Kitasawa getting in a quick selfie.
First of all, third place goes to Clark Bamboo Racing, car number 88, Richard Lyon and Frank Yu. Congratulations.
Hard fought, they needed that.
Next, second place goes to Bentley Team Absolute, car number 8, Jonathan Benter and Kitasawa. Congratulations.
Good result, as they do it in unison. The big smiles of the Aussie and the Japanese.
Next, first place goes to FFF Racing Team by ACM, car number 55, Eduardo Rivelati and Andrea Amiti. Big congratulations.
The smile says it all.
We'd like to have a brief photo session.
So fantastic scenes here at Fuji International Speedway. Fitting end to what has been a superb weekend of racing. 2 rounds and 4 races still remaining, and a lot of points
Are you okay, everyone?
up for grabs.
Okay, thank you to Tanaka-san. Next, we'd like to make a champagne presentation. Are you ready? Here we go.
And as the music says it all, off goes the champagne, and we'll be looking forward to August 19th through the 21st at Shanghai International Circuit, China. Great place to go racing, and a superb place for the next round of GT Asia. Congratulations then to Liberati and Amici. We'll be back next time out in Shanghai.
This concludes the podium presentation.